Hello, my favorite curious peeps. Welcome to April. This month I have a new trick up my sleeve. I have some cards, and I'm going to look at my cards and get the key points, and then I'm going to talk to you. This month's topic is something tender and about me personally and about others. It's about beauty. So here goes. Once upon a time, I was afraid to be beautiful. And it took me many, many years to realize that. I noticed this pattern in myself slowly over time. And as it often happens, ideas are in our unconscious and little bits and pieces come to the surface. I know that I even had some feelings and questions about my beauty in my preteen years where different seeds of stories about me and how I looked were planted by those around me. In my preteen years, I even had some challenges with body dysmorphia that extended way into my adult life. But it wasn't really until the last 5 years that I started to really clue into that, to really pay attention to that. And I realized once I saw it in myself, I started seeing it in the women around me, in my family and my friends and the women that I mentor. And it was this sort of deep, unspoken fear of being able to let our inward beauty radiate outward. Now, I just want to say that this particular struggle is not specific to just women. Men, women, and all genders struggle with how they see themselves and what they believe others see in them. But women have a particular challenge around beauty. We have a question that lives inside of us all the time. Am I safe to let my inward beauty out? And kind of beneath that feeling of being unsafe is a whole host of questions planted from different life experiences, old stories that we carry with us. They have questions like, am I too loud? Am I too bold and bossy? Am I sexy? Am I too active? And maybe even a layer under that, there might be a question of, am I not enough? The thing about these stories that we feel where we question ourselves is that a lot of times they're held in our unconscious in the shadow, and they're shrouded in shame. The thing about shame is that we have to keep those things down, and it takes a lot of energy. So when we're holding our energy inside like that, even unconsciously, we are unable to extend our beauty and our life force out to others. We can't touch the people in the world around us if we're tied up with our beauty inside. But beauty is not merely cosmetic. It's an expression of our life force. It's an expression of our soul. And ultimately, if it's an expression of our personal soul, it's an expression of the universal soul. The paradox about this is that if our beauty is all wrapped up in our vital force, in our soul, and we are blocked from expressing it, we're cut off from our erotic life force. It's shame that's cutting that off. And the thing is that when our life force gets blocked, it isn't just dead there. Energy never just disappears. It's finding a way to flow somehow, just like a river. If it blocks the flow one way, it goes another way. So it's kind of interesting to think about that. Like, if I'm blocking my own flow and my beauty, my expression of my true soul and who I am, if I can't see my beauty and I put shame in front of it and I don't feel free to express and share, where is the flow shunting? When that erotic flow moves through these alternative pathways and masks our true self from others, guess what? It also masks it from ourselves. And the thing is that maybe at one time in our life it wasn't safe. And we developed these pathways to be more safe. The challenge is that eventually when we use them over and over because they worked at one time in our lives, they actually become a barrier and become overused. And it's not that only that, I should say, that we're unable to share ourselves and touch others, but we start losing ourselves. We start losing touch with our true authentic nature, and we start believing in this barrier and this idea that we're just not quite right. The thing is that shame is the gatekeeper here. Shame is trying to save you. Let's never do that again. But it's not really necessary anymore in all the ways it was when we were little or we had other experiences in life. And that shame shrouds the shadow, so we can't get access unless we look at the shame. So when shame covers that shadow, we can't see through it. We can't see our feelings sometimes, and we can't know our knowing beneath that. But the thing is that the shadow figures are our allies. We just don't recognize them because of the shame. So if we have shame covering who we are inside and we don't want people to see, we put on a mask to face the world. The perfect mask of our choosing. And there are a number of them, and I'll share some of mine. One common one is to be a clown, the jokester. Rather than really experiencing all that juicy energy, all that central pleasure that wants to pop up and out, oh, we create a distraction. Ha 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 ha, let's laugh about that. Let's put the energy anywhere. Let's shunt it. So we laugh and we joke and we don't feel. It's safe. Instead of radiating out our essential essence, our own erotic natural beauty. Now, don't get me wrong, laughter and play are wonderful things, and I love them. I'm not suggesting that we get rid of them. But what I'm trying to point to is that sometimes we get into a habit of doing things when it was safe at one time, and then that habit turns into being the way we handle diverting our energy unconsciously. It's like a habit. And then we can't feel our intimacy. We can't feel the intensity of our own presence. Here's another common detour. Thinking, editing, analyzing. Everything moves up to the head. It's a head trip journey, all the way from the core of our gonads, all the way up to the top, as far away as we can get from that erotic feeling, while still remaining inside of our bodies. Thinking's not bad. It's a great thing to do. I love critical thinking. It's just that sometimes that becomes a diversion and we can't feel. We can only think. I know that one really well. Here's another one for you. Pouring ourselves into a group, a cult, or some activity that has a lot of decision making for us. We don't have to think. We don't have to do. It dissolves all of our individuality into groupthink. So all of our own accountability disappears and then we're replaced with conformity. So some of these diversions of our internal deep energy are internal and some are more external. So those are some internal ways, but let's talk about some of the external ways that we can be hiding in plain sight. No one can see us. How about wearing big sacky clothing so that no one can see the sensuousness of what I carry inside? Big clothes, big body, a silent message to the world. Nothing to see here, no beauty to see here. The thing is, over a time, we begin to believe our own diversion stories, and then we don't see our own beauty. Over time, these habits of thinking become neurologically reinforced. You may have heard the saying that neurons that fire together wire together, and they actually will create a worn pathway in your brain when you repeat something over and over. That's why affirmations work. And that's how we can get into depression, by saying things in a negative tone over and over. So these pathways eventually become our truth. We lose touch with the original person we came here to be. And we begin to see ourselves as whatever, ugly. Or we could pride ourselves in being extremely intelligent, endlessly productive, entertaining the life of the party. Or we can prescribe to some groupthink, groupie being. On the other hand, some people struggle with their tensions of their authentic self and the barriers they've created through substances. All of these are ways to escape the internal conflict. We intuit that we're imposters. We know that we have something back there that's good, but we have these old stories that keep repeating. And so, because out of fear and shame, we can't let people know about these old stories that we've believed. We put a mask on to face the world. And when we do that, all the while our libido fades. All of our vitality begins to droop. And ultimately, our sense of purpose fades. So, laugh it up, eat it up, cover it up, get away from it. What is your it? What is the shadow that your shame is shrouding? What are the old stories that you're still carrying around? And ultimately, what beauty are you hiding from me and yourself? And all of this brings me to the playful wisdom of April Fools. April seems like a perfect time to burn the shame shrouds and let those gifts of our shadows be released. And all that energy that we've spent distorting ourselves, and let that energy come back to us and revive us. We could choose to be freely beautiful. And we can share us with the world. You know, that kind of honesty is what transforms us. And I wonder, why do we keep fooling ourselves? Here's what you know, and I want to say, that the world needs our beauty right now. So let it pour forth. Let us feel your beautiful erotic libido for life. Let's be beautiful together. Beauty is fun and funny, and it's intelligent because it's part of our universal soul. That's our nature. So therefore, beauty is spiritual. Here's something else. Beauty is magnetic. It's revealing. Therefore, it's powerful. I know that walking the beauty way takes a lot of courage. That's exactly why we need to share our beauty with one another. So let's stop fooling ourselves. You know, they say that a person is a fool in love, but really, isn't it the fool out of love? The one that isn't connected? That's the real fool. That's the one who refuses the courage to be vulnerable, to be revealed. The one who has exiled her own beauty. So instead, let's share our shadows. Let's shed our shame shrouds, and ultimately to let our beauty shine like a true April Fool. Curious peeps, Thank you for wandering on this journey with me today. Please stay curious. And I'm sending my blessings and my prayer that you find something here for yourself today. Thank you.